Crystal, Mr. KK, as he was fondly known, you have reported a lot about what he's been up to. You were sharing with me off air that, in fact, Nelson Mandela held him in such high regard that when he was released from jail, Kenneth Kaunda was one of the people that he visited.
Yes, Clement. I mean, Kaunda was seen as another father to ANC exiles. Now, you must remember, South Africans wanting to be part of the liberation struggle, their first port of call was often Zambia. And in Zambia, having been to the camp where the ANC had housed many people, you know, Kaunda offered generously schools, access to education, access to farming equipment for the ANC to be able to feed themselves. And so for many ANC exiles and a lot of our top government officials, Zambia was second home, Clement.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of the relationship that we have had at Crystal, I remember when he came down for Nelson Mandela's funeral, he really charmed mourners there.
Absolutely, Kenneth, Clement, and I was charmed too. I think covering one of my first SADC summits outside of South Africa. I mean, Kaunda was this larger-than-life figure, you know, a real father of the nation. You just want to hug him because, of course, he represented the goodness of Africa, despite being in power for that long. And, you know, political analysts have a mixed bag reaction to those years that he ruled Zambia. But later on, Clement, he became this older statesman, you know, speaking out around HIV/AIDS, and really, you know, one of the African leaders that we could look up to, and also, of course, being a frontline state. I mean, they bore the brunt of the anti-apartheid struggle and the apartheid forces, you know, of course, who tried to their utmost to destabilize Zambia because of Kaunda's absolute support for the African National Congress in exile.
Sipho spoke about the role that he played in conflict resolution. He played a role in Zimbabwe, in Kenya as well. He was one of the continent's few surviving liberation heroes. We will remember him. I'm sure the comrades and the liberation fighters that are still alive today will remember him as the big brother. How do you think Zambia is reflecting on his legacy? How are they remembering this man who was the founding president of their country?
Clement, I think it depends on which generation you speak to. So I just spoke to, you know, those in the kind of late 30s, early 40s. And when, you know, they were born and when they were younger, Kaunda was just ousted, and that ushered in multi-party democracy in 1991. And one person I spoke to, he said, you know, Kaunda was painted as this bogeyman. You know, he was the one, you know, who was responsible, or the way they painted him was responsible for, you know, people not being able to eat food, that, you know, education suffered. And he was really painted as this bogeyman for a certain generation. Later on, of course, this generation realized, but in fact, Kaunda was really the father of the nation. He was the older statesman. And of course, there was this embarrassing incident in the late 1990s when he was stripped of his citizenship because his parents were, of course, born in Malawi. And that really saddened a lot of people. And Kaunda had to fight and go to court to have his citizenship reinstated. And I think that left a lot of bitterness to some. But I think Zambians today, Clement, reflecting on the great national hero that Kenneth Kaunda was.
Crystal, Orderson, thank you so much for the great insights reflecting on the life of Kenneth Kaunda.